So, how do we prevent these social engineering attacks, or at least mitigate the damage they can do to our organization and our people? Well, it's quite easy. You just simply securely configure and patch your people, right? Obviously, we know that's not the answer. We can patch and configure hardware and systems, but we really can't patch people. There is no patch for being a human being. So what can you do? Well, you can educate and train your people. As a matter of fact, education and training is really the primary means of patching people. It's the thing you really need to do in order to lower the risk of social engineering in your organization. What you do is you educate people on social engineering techniques, how it works, what the ramifications can be, and tell them how to avoid social engineering attacks and prevent them. You need to brief your people on what actually is and what isn't sensitive information in the company, because they may not know. Obviously, things like phone numbers and sensitive company information about the organization could be information you don't want out there in the world. And some things might not be sensitive information. Decide as an organization what is and isn't, and then put that policy out and brief people on what they should and shouldn't talk about openly with unknown people. Set policies on education and training for your employees on social engineering and other topics. Basically say that everyone will get trained when they become a new employee and periodically thereafter, as refresher, if you will, because people will forget, and if you reinforce the training, they will remember. Obviously, all of your personnel should be vigilant, observant, and, whenever it's necessary, suspicious. This could be suspicious of other people's actions, suspicious of events that don't look normal or don't seem normal, observant of things going on around them in their environment. The same car that drives around the parking lot repeatedly, stopping every now and then to take a picture. That's something your employees ought to observe and do something about. The organization should also develop procedures for the secure disposal of any printed information that could be sensitive. Things like phone books, for example, company directories, even possibly configuration manuals for the system software that the company uses. Also, you should develop a disposal policy for sensitive media, things like flash drives, USB sticks, even hard drives. You don't just throw those away, obviously, because they could have data remnants on them. So develop a disposal policy for those media. Obviously, from a physical security standpoint, you'd want to secure and control any badges or any other kinds of identification that are used by organizational personnel. This includes uniforms as well. If any of them become lost or get stolen, you definitely want to report that to the security personnel, because others could use those pieces of identification or uniforms to get access to the company. Definitely control visitors and verify their reasons for being in any areas. Obviously, a lobby where people would come in to wait on people might not be one of those areas, but if people go past the receptionist desk, for example, or if you find a strange person wandering around in what could be a sensitive area without an escort, you should verify their reason for being there and find their escort. All visitors should be logged into the organization, escorted, and controlled. Those are some of the things you should do from a general perspective, but there's a lot more things. Practice good operations security. Make people adhere to the procedures that are out there. Sometimes carelessness or sloppiness or forgetfulness can actually be a huge security breach. Propping a door open so you can go outside and smoke in the smoking area, for example, that's a security breach. Holding the door open for an unknown person bringing in a lot of boxes, that could be a security breach. You should check their identity first, obviously. Shredding sensitive documents. Obviously, don't throw them away in the dumpster. Be aware of which information is sensitive in the company, and again, which isn't. Be aware of people who seek too much information, whether it be at the company or in a social setting, a bar downtown, a basketball game, whatever. Be suspicious of loiterers, anyone who's hanging around in areas where they normally shouldn't be. Your employees should also question unknown persons. If they don't know who the person is, it's okay to ask what they're doing there in a friendly manner and help direct them to the person they need, or go get that person to come and escort them. Obviously, employees should be briefed that they should report suspicious activities, unknown packages, people coming in with deliveries that aren't expected, maintenance personnel coming in where there is no scheduled maintenance, those sorts of things. They should obviously double-check people's stories. Social engineers are very good at what they do, and they can set up very convincing pretexts before getting into an organization and doing things. So tell your employees to go ahead and check. It's okay. Everyone should be vigilant and secure. If someone comes in and says they have a delivery, or if someone comes in and says they're authorized to perform maintenance, double check it. Obviously, secure electronic devices, because if there are unescorted people in the building or area, those devices could be stolen or accessed. Obviously, you wouldn't allow tailgaters. Brief your employees to make sure that everyone badges in and that everyone belongs inside the facility. And one more thing, watch for eavesdroppers. Don't discuss sensitive information in an open area like a break room or a bar, for example. Sensitive information should be only discussed in those areas designated for such. If an employee does all of these things, social engineering attacks can be reduced and mitigated. Obviously, humans are going to be humans, so you probably can't completely eliminate social engineering attacks, but you can thwart a hacker and minimize the damage they can do with social engineering. And all it takes is educating and training your people.